Record this. How we doing? How we doing? Got
Hey,
Kobe,
hey,
Heidi, Mike, Ben, Sarah, a bunch of people. How y'all doing today?
very good.
Legend here. There's Scott. Let me just click him in. Oh crap. Oh, that's one of my favorites. Admit. Well, cool. Hope everyone's been staying busy. Glad everyone's here. It's Monday. Alan's back from Mexico. Get Andrew in here too. So, Alan, here's kind of what I want to do today. I'm going to go a little different direction. We usually do the mental side, and then the nutrition side. And I've talked to all these guys. I've really gotten to know all these guys in the last couple months here. We got some newbies, we got some old bees or whatever you want to call them, some OGs on the team. And dude, every time I talk to them, what I find is we all have that kind of similar story where, and I don't know if it's just the way the universe works, but everyone I'm attracting is like 35 to 55, entrepreneur, got a lot of stuff going on type guys. And, I'm not getting like the guy that's 500 pounds. I'm getting the guys that are like 20 pounds, just a little off. You know what I mean? Trying to manage their lives, trying to manage their careers, trying to, start new businesses and run old businesses, all that kind of stuff. So it's a really cool dynamic group, and I'm really excited that all those people have been pulled together. And every time I talk to them, it's we all kind of have like that same fucking story where it's like we just got a little off course somewhere in the late 30s, 40s. And I've never really heard from you. I know you were 100 pounds overweight at one time, but what was the story behind that? Like, is that something from growing up and you just got to 100 pounds? And then how did you figure out all of this nutrition, all these workouts? Was this like something you like learned on the internet? Did you have a mentor for this, or did you just flat out come up with this on your own? That's just something I was kind of curious. And then we can kind of go into like the nutrition questions.
That's a lot. All right. So this is like okay. So back in the day, my parents didn't have a ton of money, so we didn't get to eat the healthiest food. Hence the fact that, it started right out of the gate. It's like a vegetable was a can of corn. Well, we all know that's not a fucking vegetable, that's a filler. We all know that now. So it was like that's the kind of food that we were served because they didn't know themselves. My mom smoked, dad worked 24/7 just to put food on the table. All we had is A, B, and X because that's all they could afford. I was a big fan of Hamburger Helper, all that fun stuff that's super, super good for you. So, I didn't know or learn anything at a young age, and it kind of carried on with me. So as I got older, I was like, well, fuck, this stuff tastes good. Then it went into pizza pops, and went into the chocolate, went into this. And then all of a sudden I was like, holy shit, like I'm this big and my favorite thing in the world is Reese's Pieces Buttercups until I don't have one, then I'm sad, then I have one again and I'm happy. So I was like, this is not a fun way to do life. So that's kind of when I hit that 2021 mark where I was working at Ruth Chris, and that's when the whole transition happened where I was like, if I can't tie my shoes or put slip-on shoes on, I feel there has to be a change or I'm going to, I don't know, die or just end up in a place I don't want to be, which is already worse than where I am. And so when I initially did it, I didn't know anything about fitness. I didn't know how to fucking eat healthy. I knew that chicken was healthy for you. I knew certain vegetables were healthy for you. And I literally just ate chicken and tomatoes for fucking 2.5, 3 months. And I didn't know anything else. Back in the day, like, yeah, the internet now you can look up fucking anything you want in 2.5 seconds. Back then, it was fucking dial up. I would have to wait 20 minutes to find out an answer, or I'd have to look it up or go find it. And so it was a lot harder to get the knowledge unless you wanted to read as much as you possibly could. And that shit takes time. So it's like, I needed an answer now. So I went to the gym and I just looked at a circuit. Never been in a gym before. And I just followed what the program said or what the picture said. And that's what I did, along with doing 2 hours of cardio a day. And that's how I kind of lost that 121 pounds in that 2.5 months. Was it the greatest way? Probably not. But, it worked. It allowed me to finally kind of see the person I wanted to see through the same fucking eyes, as opposed to not being able to look at myself for X amount of years. And I think that's what really kind of screwed me over. And it kind of transitioned a little bit onto my little guy as well when he was younger, because I never would look in the mirror. Even though I competed bodybuilding, I would never look in the mirror until it was like the time to do a show. Because I always had that thought of what I look like in my eye.
Yeah.
And so, or in the back of my brain. So when I finished losing the weight and doing that kind of stuff, I was like, you know what? My goal in life is to make as many people feel as like I do now and have something to compare it to. I had nothing to compare it to because I was fucked straight from a little guy. So I thought this was normal. Did I see other people that were healthy and skinnier? Yeah, 100%. But I didn't know what it felt like to be that. So I just made it my mission and I read a ton. Didn't really look up anything on the internet and stuff like that because there was no like, yeah,
Yeah.
YouTube was around, but it was very small. It wasn't a big
Mhm.
deal. So I just trial and error. And everything I've put together, I did to myself before I went ahead and gave it to other people. So I knew it worked. I got right into bodybuilding. I was okay, if I do this, this, and this, and I combine these foods and I do this, but it took me years,
Yeah.
years until I was doing it for about 2 or 3 years. And then I met a guy named Ross Duncan, and he's from Kelowna here and he's 76 or 77 years old right now. He looks like he's 45. And it's just, I was like, what are you doing? Because I was like, I'm very interested to know. Like back then, obviously, he was in his late 40s, early 50s, but I was like, how do you look this amazing? He's an ex-doctor that went ahead and just like red eyes, did this, did all these different things that I'd never really heard of before. And he did everything based on your blood type. And I was like, well, fuck, my ears went straight up because I was like, I've never heard of that shit. And so over about a year or two, he kind of taught me how to incorporate foods, why we're supposed to eat them, when we're supposed to eat them, how we're supposed to eat them. And, like that carbs aren't the devil and, less is more, but it's applying what works because so many people, like I preach all the time, they're like, okay, I want to make a change, but they do everything at once,
Yeah.
not knowing what it is. And then they fail 3 weeks later because it's like, this is fucking exhausting. And so that's what I was doing. So the tail end of my 100 and something pounds loss, I was like, I can't do this forever. So
Yeah.
I'm very happy that in that transition, I met him because he was able to go ahead and kind of teach me some of that stuff. And along the way, like he was the president of the Bodybuilding Association here in BC. And so I learned a lot.
Yeah.
And when it comes to training and stuff like that, training is something that's, I don't say anybody can do, but food is the most important thing. So like when I learned the nutrition aspect of it, the training was the easiest part. Obviously knowing how to give somebody a program that's going to make them move in the right direction or lose weight. But the nutrition part is like, I'd say 95% plus.
Yeah.
And once you have that dialed in, it's a game changer. That's why I can talk so freely and say, hey, you're going to feel amazing after 2 days of doing this, because once again, most people eat a specific way. They don't realize that they're supposed to have no inflammation or they're supposed to have, no gut issues or this and all these different things that come with the foods that we eat nowadays. And that's why I get so fucking frustrated when people say, okay, well, this is low calorie or this is a chemical or this has 0 calories. I was like, I get it. So the average person, that's going to sound great because now they're not consuming calories. Therefore, they think they're not consuming anything that's bad for them and they're going to drop weight. Well, the body has no idea how to recognize that. So it's like it can recognize natural sugar and know what to do with as opposed to chemical. And so getting people to understand and educate is the reason why I went ahead and did this. And so after it's been 22 years now,
Wow.
I just feel so confident basically talking to anybody to
Yeah.
answer any question to make them understand why this is working, why they feel the way they do, because it took me 22 years to kind of get everything worked into a spot where I was like, you name it, I'll help you.
Yeah.
I would love to be stumped. I've been stumped maybe a couple times in the last 10 years, and I actually call Ross because he's still alive. So I'm like, this is fucking, yeah.
So cool, man. So you've been able to dial 22 years worth of experience into like a one sheeter diet and these simple exercises. This is all trial and error. And it just seems so simple, but it's not. I can tell there's just a lot of thought that's been put behind it. But when you look at it, you're like it's a one sheet diet. Anyone could come up with this, but like I've never seen anything like it, man. And
Well,
internet or no internet.
the cool thing about this is when I'm building these groups, I have to keep in mind that there are all different types of blood types. That's why I have to put so many different foods and different proteins in there. Because, for instance, if you're blood type O, I'm blood type O. If I consume chicken more often than not, I'll get bloated. My body doesn't know how to digest that. If I eat steak or turkey, my body now knows. So that's why I put so many different options, because you can go ahead and pick the ones you want to go ahead and make you feel the best. Once you kind of realize when you're a client of mine and you're a one-on-one remote client, I dial it in directly for you. But it's if I'm helping, 10, 11,000 people online, I have to make a program that is conducive to everybody, and just allow them to understand that, hey, pick the other option if you feel like shit. And then they do, and then it's a game changer.
Got it. Cool. Love that, man. That's cool. That's a cool story to know. Yeah, we'll kind of open it up right now. If anyone has any questions for Alan or anything specific, feel free to put it in the comments or raise a hand. I'll click
I'd
on
like
it.
to say one more thing. I tried to do this because I have so many people telling me, hey, when I go on vacation or I change up my environment, I gain a ton of weight.
Yeah.
I went to Mexico for 10 days. Yes, I had quite a few drinks and had a great time. I had fun with my kids. It was awesome. But I changed my food to dial in where I needed to be. I gained 2 pounds in Mexico. It took me one day to get back to where I was. So, that's the big deal is when people go away, they just go all out and then
Yeah.
they screw themselves up so much when they don't have to do that. And I still enjoyed my time. I just made sure I wasn't eating desserts and all these other things that I wanted to go ahead and have at
Yeah.
the same time because I had to pick. Do I want to have a drink or do I want to have fucking candy or cake?
Yeah.
So you can make changes and still move in the right direction even when you go on vacation.
Yeah, my whole family went to the beach, I don't know, a few months ago. And I did what I could do, man. I had like, the rice cakes and the stuff like that, the stuff I could bring, I brought because we drove to the beach. And then when I'd go to dinner, I was like, okay, I'm supposed to be eating protein and veggies. So I'd mostly order fish and veggies too. So by the time and then I worked out every day, I ran on the beach. And I went to a gym I'd never been to because Martell's always like, hit up a gym when you're on vacation and make it fun. So I went to this like little mom and pop, like the stuff you see in movies type gym. And it was like the coolest experience, man. And I got home and I'm like, all right, let's see what the damage is. Dude, I lost 2 pounds on that trip. And it was like the funnest trip ever. I felt great, I was like, it's like,
That's
so yeah,
that's
all right.
all.
So you went to Mexico. I know, and we were just talking about this. You're not a vacation guy. And a lot of these guys on this call, we're not vacation guys because we're like, I don't
I
know.
work.
We get that anxiety where like if you take your eye off the ball, something bad's gonna happen. So you can't leave. This is the way a lot of these guys feel. I know Andrew for sure. So you went on vacation, you come back, like what was that transition like? Since your like habits are so dialed in, are you just pick it up on Monday and you're like, all right, back to the grind? Or was there like any
Well,
lag?
yes, it's the first vacation I've been on with my kids and myself in 5 years. And now I'm going to need more because it allows you to really understand why you work as hard as you do. And
Yep.
it's not just the fact that I'm on vacation, but it's spending with the people that you actually want to be with. And I'm like, holy shit, they enjoy it as well. But my mind has been so like, let's go for so long because I wanted to create something that was sustainable. And because I came from nothing, it's always in the back of my head that it could always be something. So I took it probably as too far than probably farther than I should have or further than I should have. But, you know, when I came back, I had turned my phone off for 10 days and I told my clients I was going to do this. I literally, for the first day, I had fucking anxiety and I was like, okay, did they fall off the wagon? Are they going to drop me as a fucking trainer? Do I suck? Should I open it up? When I opened this up this morning at 2 o'clock in the morning, my time, I I can't tell you how many messages. So I've been working since 2 o'clock in the morning and it's 11 here now, just basically getting back to people and getting right onto it. But what I did is I knew that work was starting today. I posted a story yesterday that showed what I did, what I cooked, and what my fridge looks like. I needed to go ahead and prep for it to get ready, filled with vegetables, pineapple, this, all the stuff that I talk about, because I have to practice what I preach. If I'm going to get up and get ready for the day at such an early hour, I have to make sure that all my stuff is ready. I'm not cooking my eggs, but everything else is ready and prepped because if it's not, I'm going to run out the door and be screwed looking for something. So I had to prep for success to make sure that my day was going to be great today. And I get right back in the game. And for a lot of people, it's really hard. But once you do, even if you do gain a couple pounds on holidays, it's all water weight. It comes off within 2 or 3 days. But the brain tells you I'm fat, I lost it, I've lost everything, I've done. No. After a couple workouts and a couple healthy meals, you're good to go again.
Yeah, that's what I love about your plan is like and I hate to tell people that, but like you can get back on it fast. It's not one of those where like it's going to be a problem for, a week or so. But no, if you, and I hate telling people that because I don't want them to know that, but if you derail for a little bit, you can come right back and like, especially if you hit that, cutoff at 6 p.m. Eating, that's
Yeah.
going to be huge.
And what's so awesome about the food that you're consuming for every single person that's on this call, when you lose a pound, that pound is gone. This is the cool thing about doing this. It's not like, oh, cool, I lost 2, 3 pounds or whatever it is. Now I fucked up today and I gained it all back because you're not going to extremes. When you go to an extreme, forget the cleanse. The cleanse is water weight and this and that, and you lose a lot more weight just because of that. But when you do this and you're not going to an extreme to crash diet and do all this cardio and all that stuff, therefore the weight you're losing is actually fucking gone, which is a motivator at the same time because you know, like everybody has shit days. I remember before I left, I fucking dummied candy until the cows come home. It took me a day and a half to get back to normal. Okay. Because that's not normal. So just consistency is key, especially with this food. And that's why I said it took me 22 years to kind of find out where the calories needed to be for the average person to go ahead and drop weight. Definitely changes when you start to go ahead and into a surplus, but that's a different story.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you guys aren't following him, it's Coach Alan Dyck, DYCK on Instagram. His content's good, man. He really stepped it up. I love the videos every day. There's a lot of stuff I didn't think of that you're posting on there, and it's good. It's good.
That Coke and Diet Coke one got so much controversy because people thought that I was like, okay, so you're telling me there's no fucking bad sugar in Coke. I'm not fucking saying that. I'm saying if I had to pick between the two, I would rather pick this one than any form of chemical and shut the fuck up. Like there's so many people, I won't respond because it's fucked up. Like how people just like, they have nothing better to do. They're sitting there on their fucking beanbag watching fucking TV and being like, I suck. So I might as well tell him he sucks. Like, fuck.
Yeah, my wife I love Diet Coke, and I've always thought Diet Coke was the one you're supposed to drink. And my wife was like, "Did you see this?" Like, I don't know. So, so anyway, Scott writes, coming off the cleanse, I'm into the next phase. I've gained back 3 pounds in the first 4 days. Is that normal?
Yes, because you're going to gain basically 2 to 4 pounds or 1 to 3 pounds. And then the body is basically going to go ahead and fluctuate and understand the calories it's getting. So the reason why you're gaining that weight is because your body is now consuming more carbs, which is allowing the water to kind of come up in the body. Because for every gram of carb you take in, your body retains a certain amount of water. Once it knows that it's getting those exact amount of carb calories every single day, that water intake stops, and then it will start to drop. So it's a very good thing because it'll allow your muscles to fill up and it won't make you look like a fucking wall. Okay. If we have no carbs, you don't have a pump. If you don't have a pump, you get very upset when you're in the gym. But yeah, that's all normal.
Hey,
Okay,
I have a question for you. I have a question.
I was thirsty AF for the last 4 days and just been like chugging water. So that's awesome.
Just make sure to stay at that 4 liters. Don't go above.
Yeah, I haven't. I've been going right to, I'm like, that was going to be my next question is could I have more? Because I'm like,
not yet. Like this all plays a part. So like I usually do 2 liters by noon and 2 liters by 6. And then because the body now understands how many carb calories it's going to get, and it knows how much water it's going to get, that's where you get that kind of not bloated, a little bit bloated before it's like, oh shit. And you'll just start pissing like crazy. So this is a good thing, buddy. Good job.
Okay, awesome.
I have a question, Alan. Sometimes I can't work out the next day. I kind of already think I know your answer, but the next day, can I do the one workout? Say it's like the chest and shoulder, I think, workout. Can I do the other workout for the following day, the same day, if it's legs?
Not necessarily, because the reason why is if you did that and then you went back to a normal schedule, your body's not recovering the way it should be to grow. So if we do too much in the gym, so if you miss a day, it's not the fucking end of the world. But if you do too much in a day, your body actually is not consuming enough calories. So you're actually going to go atrophy and you're going to start to burn muscle as an energy source. So that's the only reason. If you were with me one-on-one and you were consuming 4,000 calories and you fucked up and you needed to do that, that's old school bodybuilders. They used to break it up day and day because each day they would do 2 workouts because their calories were there. We're not there yet.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Okay.
Andrew asks, what about eating lentils or black beans?
The only thing with that is they're not bad. We just have to we have to lose the weight first because lentils and black beans are really good for you, but a lot of people will try and consider them a protein, which they're higher in carbs. And so it's hard to get the right amount of protein from them and use them for carbs because they're going to go ahead and kind of give you, once again, more of that water retention. I trained a couple guys from India and I had to get them lean in order for them to incorporate that back into their program, and now they can. So yes, that definitely is something that we're going to be able to incorporate later down the line.
Cool.
Shit. 20 pounds on day 13.
So yeah, let me give you his background. Garrett, Garrett, how old are you? Are you on the call? I think he's like late. Yeah, Garrett,
24.
24.
24.
24.
Good
All
job.
right. So Garrett hit me up and he thought he was in pretty good shape. He was just trying to tone it up a little bit. And I was like, you should. And I don't think he's missed anything on this cleanse. So I can tell he's been to the
Just the
T.
tomatoes and tomato juice because I was puking.
I don't know if you ever heard of that. Have you ever had anyone get sick on the tomatoes before, Alan?
Not unless they're allergic to them. And when it comes to anything on the cleanse, if it doesn't say or specify how much to have, because I have a lot of people that don't like tomatoes, they have those little cherry tomatoes, even just have one and you're good. You don't have to have a certain amount. With that tomato juice, you might be allergic to it then, because I don't know why, or have just some adverse reaction to it.
It really upset my stomach and I was puking every time I would try to. I would like choke it down, puke it back up, choke it down, puke it back up.
That's commitment, but no, that's okay. Well, at least we're past that for after the 2 days.
So Garrett reminds me of maybe a young Alan Dick back in the way, because I can tell underneath this guy there's gonna be an Adonis under there. So Garrett, how you doing, man? And what I don't know if you've talked to Alan yet before, but what questions you have and how can we help you?
Mm, I'm just really hungry. I'm used to eating like whenever I'm hungry. I love like hot dishes and pastas and burgers and steaks and all of it and ice cream and desserts. I love it all. So it's
Fuck
been
yeah,
a
because
big
it tastes
change.
amazing.
Well, yeah,
Right?
seasonings and sauces I miss the most.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, dude, like the reason why I do this cleanse is because after these 16 days, it kind of resets your brain to understand what food's supposed to taste like. And that was the big deal for me. I loved the same shit, man. Any form of fast food, fries, mayonnaise, tartar sauce, like all the things. Like I loved them. And I would eat until I got sick. Like that's the bad part of it, is like we would do like a fucking carpet picnic and it looked like 30 people should show up, but it was just me. And then my wife's sitting over there with a fucking celery stick. So it was like, you know, well, once you're done the cleanse, it'll kind of, like I said, reset your brain to not crave that stuff. And then once you jump onto the food, it'll fill that void and be like, oh shit, this is actually how food is supposed to taste. So, you know what? If you have any questions, man, just shoot me a message and I'll definitely be able to help you, because you know what? I'm guessing you're in the same spot that I was many, many, many years ago.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
No
I'm real
worries.
excited. Told Chris I need a six pack by Memorial Day.
All right. Fuck.
Let's do it, man. I think Garrett is a young Alan Dick. I can just tell. Got another question from Scott. How do you beat cravings after 6? I'm usually heading to bed around 10, but 9 p.m. I'm feeling starving. Any tips would be great.
Yeah, suck it up. If we still have fat to lose, this is where mindset comes in, because a lot of people have that problem. I do as well. Come like 9, 10 o'clock, I'm like, holy shit. But once we get down to a point where we're lean enough, I can incorporate other stuff after 6 that won't go ahead and deter you from ever gaining weight again. We just have to get rid of the initial weight loss. So the leaner we get, the more liberties we have to do some of the stuff that we want. We just can't right now. So it's all mindset. It's like, have a fucking tea or this and that, or go to bed and just say, you know what, I got to suck it up for 3 months, you know, and then that 3 months will propel me for how long now?
Yeah, that 6 p.m. cutoff is huge. I've heard like Martel says he brushes his teeth to kind of get ready for bed. Some guys take their magnesium. One guy was saying, a lot of religions fast because it brings you closer to God. So if you want to look at it that way, that kind of help. That kind of helps. I'll get closer to God, whatever. So if you could hit, man, when you see yourself in the mirror after the 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., that's when you're like, holy shit, I look great this morning.
It's actually fucking drastic. When you go ahead and you stop it at 6 o'clock, it is crazy how much different you look. You consume something around that 7 or 8 mark. Yeah, it might not be the end of the world, but it's nuts how the metabolism slows down, doesn't know how to attack it to get rid of it, and then you fucking go to bed, so your body won't burn it off. Back in the day when I was losing weight, I loved Rocky, so I put his fucking picture up on the fucking wall, and I was just like, that's what motivated me to never want to be fucking like I was then again.
Yeah, whatever it takes. It's
100%.
The other thing for me is my dog always wakes me up in the middle of the night, and that's why I want to grab some M&Ms and shit on the way to put them out. But I'm like,
Okay, actually, what you could do for anybody that's lean and you're getting to that point, I have in my fridge, I have a huge container, I fill it with water, and I cut up carrots, celery, and cucumbers and peppers, and I throw it in there. And so it's always in the fridge. So if you ever get to the point where you're like, okay, if I had to do this, I'd rather do that than go to fucking candy.
Got it. So, but not fruit. Like
Fuck
not.
no. Fruit's got sugar, got carbs, not bad for you, but wrong timing. You gonna go for a fucking run after that?
Love it, love it. Anyone else? Anyone else? Hides, how you doing?
I'm
I'm
doing.
just curious. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, nope. You go ahead. You had a question.
I'm just curious, like, well, was everyone's like meal plan kind of customized after the 16 days, or what does that like look like? Is it
They,
generic?
this one is not necessarily generic. I was kind of trying to touch base on this in the beginning. I give a wide variety of different types of protein. And so you get to pick the ones that you want because there's tons of different options to allow for your freedom. So if you want to have steak or if you want to have chicken thighs or you want to have this, so there's more option there. It's not just, hey, everybody has steak, everybody has something specific. So that way you get a little bit of variety. Is it custom to exactly what you're going to need? No, but the 1,850 calories based on where you need to go is all you're going to need. I had a girl, her name's Jasmine. She started with me, and in 1 year, I had her at 1,850 calories because she was 350 pounds. I didn't touch her food plan for one single year, and she lost 141 pounds at that 1,850 calories. So it's like once your stomach gets used to the 1,850 calories, it's not too little to make you starve. It's not too much to keep you too full. It's well, like the whole baby bear shit. It's just fucking perfect. Okay. So it's set up for you to go ahead and drop weight like it's going out of style, buddy.
What if a guy
Yeah.
wants to gain weight and muscle?
We have to get to a six pack. You show me a six pack, you go back up. Then you get
Okay.
more calories, you get a different workout. So you fucking show me a six pack, I'll do anything you want, buddy.
I'm game.
All right,
3 months.
done. Here,
Yeah,
can I ask you, how much do you weigh right now and how tall are you?
6'3", 20, what was I, 208, I think today? 208.4. Well,
You
I
can do
started at 229 on the
You
dot.
can definitely do that, dude. Yeah. Oh yeah,
Oh
before
yeah.
6 months. Depends on how much muscle you have in your body, but you can probably do that before 3 months, right?
Oh yeah.
That's my goal too, Garrett. So let's race.
Let's get her. Memorial Day is the first big boating weekend here, so that's my
100%. Get
goal.
that in a spray tan, you're fucking good to go.
I get a natural tan.
Okay.
Yeah, Alan, it's good to see you with the tan. You don't look so Canadian today.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
I burnt my face a little bit. I was trying to wear a hat, and it was funny because my little guy has never really seen me in that environment with my shirt off. So I just said, fuck this. We got off the plane and I took my shirt off and he's like, Dad, what are you doing? I was like, fuck it. Dan's like, make people want what you got and ask you questions. And I was like, oh my God, I had my shirt on a couple times, but I went for breakfast without it. A guy came over. He's like, hey, man, we don't usually let people keep their shirt off, but people are just staring at you. So we're going to let this happen. It was the most awkward thing in the whole world. I was fucked because I've never done this. I'm always that guy. I've taken my shirt off in this town maybe 5 times in 22 years. Every time I do a bodybuilding show, I will get sick because I have to take my shirt off and go into public. Like it's a very big deal. So I was like, fuck it, let's go the other direction. And it was fun.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I will say, when you get the body right and you get the mind right, the confidence comes with it. You start doing a lot of shit you normally wouldn't have done, which is cool, man. It's cool to watch you advance too, and like kind of progress in life. And you're crushing it. You're crushing it on the fitness, and now you're starting to crush it online, and you're getting all these people across the world to join in, which is like, dude, that's very, very, admirable because there's not a lot of people doing shit right now. So, man,
Life has changed a lot in the last year and a half for sure since since I met Dan. He's been able to just kind of shoot me in the right direction and be able to help as many people as possible because I didn't know how to do it. I fucking hate social media, but I understand it's a tool you have to use to help people, know who you are. So
Yep, they're all on there. And like even if they're not commenting or posting, they're all on there.
dude, every time I've got a videographer now, which is fucking what wicked because now I'm moving on up in the world. He's like, he'll film and at the very end of it, I'm like, I fucking hate myself. Like, this is so stupid. He's like, hey, we're going to do this. And I'm like, sure we are. But you should see if there was a blooper reel, that would be the funniest fucking thing on the face of the planet. I don't think you'd be able to post most of that content.
That's awesome. Anyone else? Anyone else got questions for Alan or comments or anything?
I had a quick question.
Let's see.
Um, so Alan, Chris and I are going to the beach at the end of the month, and I
Okay.
was telling Chris that I might like start the cleanse mid-month just to like I'm happy where I'm at because I'm at like 17% body fat and I feel good and I'm about 128 pounds and I'm 5'5". But like I want to get like we keep saying we want to get like shredded for the beach. I feel like I have some water weight maybe I could lose. And I was
Okay. So
think
I
like
got how long, when is this? When are you guys going?
we leave the 28th.
Okay. All right. So for every group that I have, once people get down to a specific spot, there's a lot of people that have wanted to do like photo shoots and get lean and this and that. So I have two different options. Okay. So I might as well just tell everybody. Option one, it's $499 US. I give you a program for 2 weeks based on where you're sitting at. And option two is it's $899 and you're with me for 2 weeks. You're checking in with me directly and I give you something specific. One of the other girls lost 13 pounds in 2 weeks. She's like, what the fuck? So I show you the difference between this and then I just tighten you up. So it's for a lot of those people that are kind of getting to the tail end and they're like, okay, I want to see that last little bit come off. It's very different. You won't use this Trainerize. I'll send you a specific program and a specific food plan, but it's a very different beast altogether.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. So depends on if you want to look better than Chris, and I think you probably could. So
Wait, so the first plan, aren't those both direct with you? Just help me
no,
understand.
the first one is $499, and then you send me your information, and then I just basically send you your food and your workout. The second one is $899. You send me your information, and you're with me directly for 2 weeks. You're checking in with me, so it's like daily check-ins.
Got it.
So you can get yelled at for $900, or you can just take it and run for $499. Your choice.
I don't think I'd yell at her. I think she follows it.
I would totally follow it.
No, she's doing great. She's doing great. Man, good calls. Any other questions for Alan while we got him?
Hey, you know what? Before anybody has a question, what I try and tell all the groups is you guys are now your own walking billboard. People are seeing you every single day. So like to try and go ahead and it's not like a fucking pyramid scheme, but just like people love to feel like you are now and love to look like you are now. And then they just start kicking more ass like you're going to be, if not already. And so like spread it like wildfire because it's very important. Like when I told my little guy that the average population is out of shape. It's like literally 1%, 2%. And we were in Mexico and, it's in the back of his head because he's 12 and he's starting to get into fitness and really liking it. And he's like, Dad, like, it's actually crazy. 1 out of every 10 was like, almost like more, not necessarily morbidly obese, but just not where they need to be. And their life is dictated from where they're sitting and what they can do or can't do. And it's just like, he understands now. He's like, because his stepfather is a very big guy, and he's like, he can't do the things that he talks about. He talks about what he used to be able to do. And so, you know what? Talk to as many people as you can because they're already seeing you make your changes. So, you know what? I want to help as many people as possible.
Totally. Yeah. It's the percentage of people that are even trying is super low. And this when you think, and it's when we have bad days or you miss a couple days on vacation and then you get back into real reality, not social media, like you go to like a Walmart or like a Texas Ranger or a Dallas Cowboys game. That's what people really look like. And it's not good, man. And then
No.
it's bad. And then you toss in some Ozempic and all that other shit they're doing now. And it's just like, holy shit. There's some bad things coming down the pipeline too. And it's like, man, if you can fix it now, because most of us are on the back nine. Once you kind of cross 40, and hopefully you live to 80 or 90. That's
I'm gonna live to 120 and decide to shut it down. So you shut the fuck up. Okay?
Yeah, if you make it to 120, man, I'll be there with you, whatever we're doing. But yeah, you're so right, man. And then you go on vacation and you're like, holy shit. I remember we went on that beach trip with my family, and like I was watching these kids play in the water, and I was just like, well, those are good looking kids. And they walked over to their parents, and I was like, oh man, those kids don't stand a chance. The dad's like 300 and some pounds sitting on the beach, with his cooler of beer. I'm like, the kid doesn't stand a chance. But yeah, if you can change it now, my kids are 10 and 12, and they've seen the transformation between me and Heidi, and they know, Chick-fil-A versus like chicken and rice and, stuff like that. And it's crazy, man. If you can get in their heads now, it's going to change their lives. Totally.
100% agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it, dude. Well, that's all I really got. If anyone has any questions, you know where to find both of us. Appreciate all the feedback and stuff. That was a good call.
And Garrett, make sure to send me a message if you have any questions, okay?
Awesome. Thanks, man. I appreciate you guys.
See you guys.